One of the marriage rules that I usually talk with clients about is when you get married, the first rule that you need to have is never mention the word divorce. Because couples who use divorce, who threaten divorce, have a higher risk of divorcing. The reasons for that are many, but what I want to really get to you today are to give you alternatives to doing that. Because although thinking about a divorce, I would say is very common, I don't know of any long term married couple who, if you really honestly ask the spouses, have you ever thought about divorce? The majority would probably say yes. But thinking about it, thoughts about it, are different than saying it, threatening it. And when you threaten a divorce, you hurt your communication ability, like basically the person doesn't feel secure or safe with you anymore, so they're going to close down. They're not going to say what they're really thinking. So you're also hurting the trust aspect, because if somebody threatens divorce when times are bad, then why in the world would you trust them with what happens to you, or what's going on in your head? When someone says you never open up, why would you open up if the partner threatens divorce when things are hard or things are difficult? And the other thing it does is it removes basic human needs like safety and feeling secure in a relationship. You're no longer at home in your own marriage. There are several reasons that people threaten divorce, and I couldn't even give you all of them, but there's a few that I think of. Infrequent sex is a big one, infidelity, frequent arguments, financial problems, feeling unheard or listened to, not getting any attention, feeling like the two of you can't talk. You can't really talk about deep issues, substance abuse issues. Parenting conflicts are another big one that I deal with, and just unresolved issues that are not taken seriously, that aren't, addressed. They're just swept away. When anything is swept under the carpet because people are afraid to discuss it, or they don't have a good way of discussing it, I think that's a reason that many couples start threatening divorce. Like, why are we in this? So let me give you some alternatives to do instead. This is one that we used in our own marriage, and we used it after 2 years of being married. And the reason is because I wasn't a therapist yet. I was a nurse. My husband was still in a residency program. And basically, we were stressed out. I was stressed out. And I would think about, did I make a wrong choice? What happened? And so rather than ever mention divorce, because of my faith, I don't really like divorce. I don't really want to ever divorce. What ended up happening is I suggested a contract, and I wasn't a therapist yet, but lo and behold, this really works. And what you do is you write a contract and you say, as long as we're married, we will never mention the word divorce. However, when we're unhappy, we will set up time to make sure we talk about it and get to the bottom of unresolved issues. And somehow, when we both made that contract and we both signed it, it really helped us when we were feeling stressed, or we were feeling unheard, or we were feeling like we weren't really on the same page. We would make an extra point to say, I think we need to talk. And we both were so committed because we had this contract. But and you just write it up yourself. If you're with a therapist, the therapist can help guide you. But basically, you can write a contract that works for your marriage. I mean, you guys are co-creating the marriage. You can write a contract that you co-create too. What to say? People are always like, well, how do I not say that when I just feel like I'm not being heard? I have some lines, that scripts that you can use. I am hurt because I feel you are not really listening to me. Um, and this keeps happening, and I'm starting to feel alone. Say that instead of saying, I want a divorce. I am afraid that if we cannot problem solve this, we're not going to be able to keep the relationship going and feel desire for each other. These are two scripts that work much better. Another one that I can think of is I feel like sometimes when I start talking, you zone out. And I'm not sure why you do that, but I am curious and I want to talk about it because the effect is I begin feeling worthless or undesired or like I don't matter. When you say that to your partner, you're going to bring their awareness and attention because you're telling them how you feel. Consider counseling. I think when two people are at this point, when they can't talk and they're on the verge of maybe getting a divorce or threatening it, then it's time to really get active with a therapist. And the other thing that I really like is something called the wait principle. And this is done internally when you think, gosh, I'm just going to tell him I want out of this marriage. Wait and ask yourself this: have I looked at how it will land on my spouse if I threaten a divorce? What is the desired outcome of putting the divorce word on the table? What do I want? Why am I thinking about a divorce? What is really making me unhappy or upset? What do I need from my partner and my relationship that I'm not getting? Before you ever threaten divorce, maybe even before you go to counselor, you ask yourself these questions and you write them down. Because if you guys decide to go to therapy, this is all going to really help. The bottom line is you don't want to threaten divorce ever. You can think about it. You can ask yourself these questions. You can gain insight. You can go to therapy. You could talk to your partner about how unhappy you are and write a contract. But once you threaten with a divorce, I'm telling you, it changes the relationship in a derogatory way, and it won't be healthy for you or your partner. So try as much as you can to do work on your own about what you're wanting, and then take it to the table and talk with it about your partner. If this is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.